But what's the price forecast for 2024? Oh my goodness. We predict $48 to be hit. Remember though, this does not reflect the true fundamental value of an ounce of silver. Here's my silver packet. Now, look, to me, this is not a trade. This is a positioning, and silver is my barterable position. So you want to have a variety of sizes in your possession, right? And that's the same with gold and silver. They're used across every single sector of the global market. And demand absolutely is greater than supply. So you can tell that we are not near the fundamental value of silver, but that can be hidden for quite some time, as we all know, and especially silver stackers that are wanting that price to go up. It doesn't matter what it does. For me, we know that ultimately, when we go into hyperinflation, you're going to see the price in terms of this stuff, you're going to see it go up. But by the time it gets to its fundamental value, look at the demand that has grown so much since 2012. Across all industrial use, it rose by 11%, which is a record high in 2023, right? Don't believe the spot markets on anything. I don't care if it's stock valuations or it's crypto valuations or it's gold valuations or silver valuations. There is no good true price discovery in these markets. All of this crap that the government and the central banks have printed and put out into the system, they have to go somewhere, and they go into assets. Preferably for the central banks, they go into intangibles. Preferably for me and for you, they go into real sound money. This is a sound money movement. It makes sense to participate and not believe the lies anymore, right? There we had a little surplus. Look at the deficit. That means that there is far, far greater demand than there is supply. Does the price reflect it? Absolutely not. Look at how it's plunged right here in the face of that deficit. Does that make any logical sense? Just understand that markets can remain illogical a lot longer than you can stay solvent. So none of this should be treated as a trade. None of it. This is your barterable, your wealth insurance position. That's what you have to keep in mind. We have talked before, but you see this cup formation. So this is a long-term chart on spot silver. And you can see that where we are right now is hitting a resistance level. We will break through that, just like remember I talked about the wedge formation and we broke above that wedge. So the most likely outcome is for silver, spot silver, to continue to go up. But of course we have to break the high that was created way back in 2013? And we will do that. I think we're coming to conclusion. It'll go above. Once it goes above that, then it's to the moon on a Lorna Doone, let's face it. So I do believe that we are coming to conclusion on this cup. We still have to double basically where spot is at the moment, but I can see that happening for sure.
As we enter 2024, the spotlight is increasingly focused on silver, a metal that has long been overshadowed by its more glamorous cousin, gold. Yet silver is quietly positioning itself as one of the most compelling investments of the coming year. This isn't just about riding the waves of market speculation. It's about understanding the fundamental shifts happening in the global economy and how they are driving the value of precious metals. First, let's address the elephant in the room, silver's price forecast for 2024. Based on current trends and market analysis, it's predicted that silver could hit $48 per ounce this year. But let's be clear, this figure does not represent the true fundamental value of silver. The reality is that silver's intrinsic value far exceeds its market price, and the current figures are likely suppressed by the same mechanisms that have been manipulating the gold market for decades. Silver is not just another commodity, it's a critical industrial metal with uses across multiple sectors, from electronics and solar panels to medical devices and military technology. The demand for silver is surging, particularly as the world shifts towards greener technologies, many of which rely heavily on silver for their efficiency and durability. For example, the demand for silver in photovoltaic cells used in solar panels has skyrocketed in recent years and shows no signs of slowing down. Despite this increasing demand, the supply of silver remains constrained. Mining production has struggled to keep pace with consumption, and recycling rates are insufficient to bridge the gap. This imbalance between supply and demand should logically drive prices higher, but the market remains curiously subdued. This discrepancy is a clear indication of market manipulation, likely orchestrated by major financial institutions and central banks to maintain the illusion of stability in the global financial system. For those of us who are savvy enough to recognize this, silver is not a trade. It's a long-term positioning strategy. Unlike the speculative plays in stocks or cryptocurrencies, silver is a tangible asset with intrinsic value. It's a form of wealth preservation that has stood the test of time. During periods of economic instability, silver, like gold, has historically served as a safe haven, protecting wealth from the ravages of inflation and currency devaluation. When we talk about silver, it's crucial to understand that we are dealing with a commodity that is not only undervalued, but also increasingly essential to the global economy. This isn't about hoping for a short-term spike in prices. It's about recognizing the fundamental shifts that are underway and positioning oneself accordingly. As we move further into 2024, the signs are clear. Demand for silver is outstripping supply, and the market is beginning to take notice. However, the market's acknowledgement of silver's true value is still in its infancy. We're seeing early signs of this realization with the formation of bullish patterns in long-term silver charts. For instance, the cup formation that has been developing suggests that once silver breaks through its current resistance levels, we could see a significant rally. This isn't mere speculation. It's a technical analysis that has been validated time and again in financial markets. Moreover, as the global financial system continues to face unprecedented challenges, including rising inflation, ballooning debt levels, and geopolitical tensions, the case for silver only strengthens. Governments around the world, particularly in the West, are trapped between a rock and a hard place: raise interest rates to curb inflation and risk crashing the economy, or keep rates low and allow inflation to spiral out of control. In either scenario, the outlook for fiat currencies is bleak, making precious metals like silver increasingly attractive.
Here is a short-term chart, so what you can expect. Excuse me. Pay attention to this gap, right? We've talked about the gaps before. So when you see pullback, what it's likely to do is to go back to this level and fill that gap. That is just a technical fill. At some point, all gaps get filled. So I can't tell you exactly when that's going to happen, but I can tell you that it is most likely to happen at some point. This is where we were on the 6th, 27.61. We have a little ways to go, but what's the price forecast for 2024? Oh my goodness. We predict $48 to be hit. Remember though, this does not reflect the true fundamental value of an ounce of silver. Here's my silver packet. Now, look, to me, this is not a trade. This is a positioning, and silver is my barterable position. So you want to have a variety of sizes in your possession, right? I personally like pre-64 dimes because it's easier to put 2 dimes together than to break a quarter in half. However, gold or silver in any form is monetary at its base. And of course, you always see me with my chopstick, which helps me explain what's happening in the bond markets and in the debt markets. If I had to clip a piece of this off to buy something, I'm not going to care. I guarantee you, I'm not going to care. So take a look at what you have. If it's marked sterling, it is 92.5% pure. If it is marked 925, so Mexican silver is typically marked 925, that too is 92.5% pure. The dimes quarters, half dollars, and dollars pre-64 are all 90% pure. So you want to accumulate it and use it for your barterable position. But we've got to talk about the supply-demand thing that is just cattywampus and doesn't make any sense. And that's how you know that the market's being manipulated, because the Silver Institute predicts a 16% increase in demand for this year to 1.21 billion ounces. Look at all of the uses of silver, right? All of these: silverware, industrial, photography, jewelry, bars and coins, for hedging, and so many more. I'm going to show you again the breakdown. But when you have this level of global demand, it's not for the spot silver market. It's for the physical market. And that's the same with gold and silver. They're used across every single sector of the global market. And demand absolutely is greater than supply. So you can tell that we are not near the fundamental value of silver, but that can be hidden for quite some time, as we all know, and especially silver stackers that are wanting that price to go up. It doesn't matter what it does. For me, we know that ultimately, when we go into hyperinflation, you're going to see the price in terms of this stuff, you're going to see it go up. But by the time it gets to its fundamental value, I guarantee you, can't give you a lot of guarantees, but I can totally give you this one. I guarantee you, you are not going to want to convert your silver that you're holding into dollars or any other fiat money wherever you happen to be in the world. Because at that point, everybody is going to know that the dollars have no value. And you have to keep in mind that all central bankers have left is this. That's all they have left. And I know for some people, my money gun is annoying, but it really does make the point of what is happening in here.
As we transition into the latter half of this discussion, it's vital to emphasize that silver is more than just a financial asset. It's a hedge against systemic risk. In an era where fiat currencies are being devalued at an alarming rate, driven by reckless monetary policies and excessive money printing, silver stands out as a form of wealth that is immune to inflation and currency debasement. We've talked about the predicted price of silver reaching $48 per ounce in 2024, but let's not get too caught up in these numbers. The real value of silver, especially in a hyperinflationary environment, could far exceed these predictions. When fiat currencies lose their purchasing power, the price of tangible assets like silver doesn't just rise, it skyrockets. This isn't just theoretical. History is replete with examples where silver and gold became the only reliable stores of value when paper currencies collapsed. But why silver specifically? Silver offers a unique combination of attributes that make it particularly attractive in times of economic distress. First, its affordability relative to gold makes it accessible to a broader range of investors. While gold is often the go-to asset for central banks and large institutional investors, silver is more accessible to the average person looking to protect their wealth. Second, silver has a dual role as both a monetary metal and an industrial commodity. This dual demand base provides a level of resilience that is unmatched by most other assets. Even if investor demand were to temporarily decline, industrial demand would continue to support the price of silver, providing a floor that limits downside risk. One of the most compelling reasons to hold silver is its potential to outperform gold in a bull market. Historically, silver has shown a tendency to outpace gold during periods of rising precious metal prices. This is due to its smaller market size and higher volatility, which means that when gold prices rise, silver often rises faster. For example, during the bull market of the late 1970s, silver prices increased by over 700%, significantly outpacing gold's gains. However, it's important to approach silver not just as a short-term trade, but as a long-term investment. The markets can remain irrational longer than most investors can stay solvent, which means that timing the market is incredibly challenging. Instead, think of silver as part of a broader wealth preservation strategy. It's your bearable position, an asset that you hold not because you expect to cash it in tomorrow, but because you understand its role in preserving wealth over the long term. And let's not forget the importance of diversification within your silver holdings. While many investors focus on acquiring large bullion bars, it's also wise to have a variety of smaller, more liquid pieces. Pre-1964 U.S. silver coins, for example, are an excellent option for those looking to diversify. These coins are 90% pure silver and are easily recognizable, making them an ideal form of barterable currency in times of crisis. As we look at the broader picture, it's clear that the demand for silver is only going to increase. The Silver Institute predicts a 16% increase in demand for 2024, driven by a combination of industrial uses, investment demand, and growing interest in silver as a hedge against inflation. Yet despite this rising demand, the supply of silver remains constrained, creating a perfect storm for higher prices. But don't be fooled by the spot market prices. The reality is that the true value of silver is not reflected in these manipulated markets. Central banks and financial institutions have a vested interest in keeping the price of silver suppressed because a rising silver price is a clear indication of a failing currency. This manipulation can keep prices artificially low for a time, but it cannot change the underlying fundamentals. When the manipulation finally ends, and it will, silver prices are likely to soar to levels that few can imagine today. At that point, the real challenge will not be selling your silver, but deciding whether you want to convert it back into a fiat currency that is rapidly losing value. In a hyperinflationary scenario, the last thing you'll want to do is trade your silver for paper money. Instead, you'll likely use it to acquire real assets, barter for goods and services, or preserve your purchasing power in a world where fiat currencies have lost their credibility. And let's talk about the long-term technical patterns that are forming in the silver market. The cup formation on the long-term chart, for instance, is a classic bullish pattern that suggests a strong upward move is on the horizon. We are approaching a key resistance level that, once broken, could lead to a significant rally in silver prices. This isn't just speculation. It's grounded in decades of technical analysis and market behavior. But this isn't just about charts and technical patterns. It's about understanding the broader economic context. The world is on the brink of significant changes, both economically and geopolitically. Central banks are running out of tools to manage the economy, and the risks of a major financial crisis are growing by the day. In this environment, silver offers a level of security that is hard to find in any other asset class. Finally, let's inject a bit of humor into the conversation. Imagine the look on your friends' faces when you tell them you've been hoarding silver dimes and quarters. They might laugh now, but when the fiat system collapses, you'll be the one laughing all the way to the silver vault. As they say, he who laughs last laughs best, and in this case, he who holds silver laughs loudest. In conclusion, as we navigate the uncertain waters of 2024 and beyond, silver stands out as a beacon of stability and security. Whether you're looking to protect your wealth, diversify your portfolio, or simply prepare for the unknown, silver offers a compelling solution. The time to act is now, before the rest of the world wakes up to the reality of what's happening. Don't wait for the bubble to burst. Secure your financial future with silver today, and rest easy knowing that you've made a wise decision in uncertain times.
Stay informed about the latest developments shaping the precious metals market with regular updates from the Finance Daily team. Not only that, but as a subscriber, you'll also receive timely silver and gold price notifications and early access to groundbreaking news unavailable to the general public. Join our free gold and silver newsletter today. Link in the description.